Today's lesson is Module 4, Lesson 29, Multi-Step Problems. There is obviously, you can see it, a big word problem. I would push pause right here and write it down so that you have it available on your notes page, and then press play when you're ready. So I'm going to read the word problem to you, and we're going to mark it up, and then we'll solve the problem. The school librarian knows the library has 1,400 books, but wants to reorganize how the books are displayed on the shelves. She needs to know how many fiction, nonfiction, and resource books are in the library. He knows, or she knows, sorry, that the library has 4 times as many fiction books as resource books, and half as many nonfiction books as fiction books. If these are the only types of books in the library, how many of each type of book is in the library? So I'm going to highlight or underline what I see is important. I know that there's 1,400 books in all. That the library has 4 times fiction books as resource and half as many nonfiction as fiction. I need to solve how many of each type of book is in the library. Okay? So we're going to draw tape diagrams, one to represent the number of fiction books in the library and one to represent the resource books. So let's start with what would be simple, and we're going to go with resource books. With resource books, it says, it doesn't give us any information about resource books or saying that it is half of something or anything like that, so I'm just going to let it be a tape diagram and let it be R. R equaling resource books. Okay? And then I'm going to go with fiction books because I think that'll be the second easiest to deal with. Why do I think that's the second easiest? Well, it tells me in the story she knows that the library has 4 times as many fiction books as resource books. Well, if I already drew this tape diagram for resource books, then I know I just need 4 of this size pushed together to equal fiction. So I'm going to draw another tape diagram and have 4 pieces. Sorry, they're not like perfect size. And each of the pieces is R, but when they're all smushed together, they equal the number of fiction books. Which we're going to let stand for the letter F. Okay, now, let me turn the page of my notes that I'm looking at here. Now we're going to draw a tape diagram to represent nonfiction. Books. And if you read the problem, it says, she knows that the library has 4 times as many fiction books as resource books and half as many nonfiction books as fiction books. So if this equals fiction books, and there are 4 pieces, then half of 4 would be 2. So I'm going to draw 2 pieces of the tape diagram, each being labeled R still. And that's going to equal the number of nonfiction. And if I'm going to give it a variable, I'm going to put it be N. Okay. Now I'm going to go off to the side and write a math problem to match each tape diagram. There isn't any math problem that happens in the resource books. It's just R, so I'm just going to write R here. Here I have R, but then I have 4 boxes with R in each, so it's actually 4 times R, or 4R. Those both represent fiction books. Okay, the nonfiction, you could either do, there's 2 boxes with R in each, so it could be 2 times R or 2R. Or you could even put that it is half of fiction. If it's half of fiction, it would be F, which stands for fiction, divided by 2. So this one actually has 3 equations you can use for it. If I wanted to draw a tape diagram to solve, I would draw a tape diagram representing the total amount of books, which is 1,400 or 1,400 books. I know that there is one box that's just R, one box represented by 4R, and one box represented by 2R. The 4 coming from the 4 boxes in fiction, the 2 coming from the 2 boxes in nonfiction. So this is resource books, fiction, and nonfiction. And if I were to make this into a math problem, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't notice that you didn't see that. If I were to make this into a math problem to solve for each, it would be 1,400 equals R plus 4R plus 2R. That's the math problem to show it. Now I'm going to show you tomorrow in class how to actually take this and solve for the amount of books in each category. Okay, so just make sure you have this written down. We'll solve the rest of it tomorrow in class. Have a good night and I'll see you tomorrow.